Alright, old school NBA fans, self-research, NBA facts. Got another video for you. As always, thanks to anybody who watches my videos, subscribes to my channel. I really appreciate it. I want to give a special thanks to my man, Isle Sabag. Thank you once again for the super thanks. I really appreciate all your support. And also to Mr. Whiskers from Canada. Thank you so much for the super thanks. I really appreciate it very much. In this video here, I'm going over some of the all-time greats, what I think is the top 10 best players. Some people like Kevin Durant and Steph Curry, so I included them in there. And the current best players as far as legacy goes, which would be Giannis and Nikola Jokic. And what I'm looking at is, how many times do these guys have a teammate who scored 30 points or more? The detractors are going to say right away that, oh, well, certain players had defensive help. They may not have had offensive help. When you have somebody who can go get you 30, do you know what a relief that is? To relieve the pressure that you have for scoring the basketball. If you're a superstar and you're the main scorer on the team, if you got a teammate who can go get you 30, it's huge. It just is. In those high pressure situations, it definitely helps to have that number two scorer, somebody that can create their own shot. It means a lot, as opposed to the guy that you know is going to take the last shot and you can just form a defensive scheme against them. It's nice. You know, like right off the bat, Jamal Murray for Nikola Jokic. He's hit some game winners. Several of them had big playoff games. That's nice to have that. But certain people did not always have that. And yeah, defenses, maybe you had better defensive players, whatever, but that's always more of a collective thing. It's not always as cut and dry as it is on the offense, scoring the basketball. But I'm going to get right into it. Nikola Jokic, in his 94 playoff games played, he's had 19 teammates get him 30 or more points, 20.2% of the time. He also has, that includes 4 teammates that got him 40 or more, and even twice 50 or more. That's got to be pretty nice to have that. And everybody says Nikola Jokic doesn't have very good teammates, yada, yada. But I got to tell you, a guy that can get you 30 regularly, occasionally 40, and even super occasionally 50, yeah, that's not bad. 20.2%, so about 1 out of every 5 games, Jokic has a teammate getting him 30. It's not bad. That's more than once a series on average. Giannis Antetokounmpo. Now, obviously, Giannis didn't have quite as much, but still, he had some pretty good players on his team. In his 84 playoff games, 14 times he had a teammate get him 30 or more. That comes to 16.66%. That's exactly 1 out of every 6 games. So once a series, he's getting 30 points from a teammate. That's not bad. Only 1 time did he ever have a teammate get him 40. Kevin Durant in 170 playoff games played, he's had 40 teammates get him 30 points or more. Obviously, that's going to be Steph Curry, Russell Westbrook, 23.5% of the time. So that's about once every 4 games. That's extraordinary. Imagine having that kind of help. 9 times somebody got him 40 points. Again, that's just nuts. When you have a scorer like Kevin Durant, and then you got to worry about somebody else maybe getting 30 on you or more, yeah, that's nuts. How this guy only won 2 championships is always going to puzzle me. Steph Curry, he played 155 playoff games. 32 times he had a teammate get him 30 or more, 20.6% of the time. 5 times he had a teammate get him 40 or more. But that means 1 out of every 5 games, just like Jokic, just a little bit more than Jokic actually, a teammate got him 30 or more. I mean, that's awesome. That's great. LeBron James in his 292 playoff games, 40 teammates, the same as Kevin Durant. Obviously, he's played a lot more games than Kevin Durant, but 40 teammates have got him 30 or more in a playoff game, and that comes to 13.7%. So that's about 1 out of every 7 games. So you could say once a series, or maybe just a little bit more than that, because the average is probably about 6 games. He also had 6 teammates get him 40 or more. And he always had guys that seemed to come up big in big games. Like this one right here, going back to 2007.
Gibson for three. Daniel Gibson from downtown.
This guy's becoming a legend. Nobody had heard of him about 2 weeks ago.
Gibson for three. Yes!
Are you kidding me?
Gibson open for three. Yes! Gibson for three.
My goodness.
That's five from downtown and a career high of 27 points for Daniel Gibson.
Daniel Gibson getting you 31 points on 9 shots in a game 6 that you gotta have, because if you lose, it's game 7 at Detroit, and LeBron went 3 for 11 that game. So you could say Daniel Gibson absolutely single-handedly got the Cavs into the finals. I know LeBron gets all the credit, and I know game 5, he had a monster game. Not taking that away from him. That's not what I'm saying here. What I'm saying is, if Daniel Gibson has like 9 points or something, they're going to lose that game. LeBron came up 3 for 11. So when you have a guy getting you 31 points coming off the bench on 9 shots, yeah, that's pretty awesome, I would say. Another one here, another must-win situation, going back to 2016 finals. You have somebody matching you in a big game. That's just unbelievable to have that.
Curry take out Andre Iguodala. I agree with it because he's matching his minutes. Irving, crossover, pull up, got it.
Irving gets free, banks it in, and a foul. Bogut picks up yet another, and Kyrie Irving continues his sensational Game 5.
That's why you don't get caught up in 5 assists. This is the right part telling his team continue to move without the basketball.
Irving again from downtown. He's 4 for 5 from that distance. He's got 29. Irving slides inside. Thompson right with him. Irving, bank shot is good, and a foul. Kyrie Irving does it again. Irving from 3, bang! Teammates, 82 points.
Yeah, Kyrie Irving matched LeBron 41-point game in Game 5 when Draymond Green was suspended at Golden State, a game they had to have. He comes up huge. LeBron, his 41 points, he was 16 for 30, shot 53.3%. He had a good game. Obviously, there was nobody who could stop him. Draymond Green was gone, and even Green was too small for LeBron anyway. I mean, he feasted on those Golden State teams because they were just too small. But Kyrie Irving, his 41 points, he did it on 6 less shots and made 1 more basket, going 17 for 24, 71.4%. A career game for Kyrie Irving. 5 for 7 3-point line. He was just unbelievable in that game. A guy that can match you like that, nice to have that. Shaquille O'Neal, in his 216 playoff games, 56 times he's had a teammate get him 30 or more for a 25.9% clip. That's going to be Penny Hardaway, Kobe Bryant, Dwayne Wade. These are the guys that did that. And I think even LeBron in 2010. Yeah, Shaq has always had a high-level scoring guard or wing player. Always. And he's benefited from that. He even had 8 teammates get him 40 or more. And Shaq was the focal point up till probably about 2007, maybe 06. Must be nice. Tim Duncan, in his 252 playoff games, 27 of his teammates got him 30 or more for 10.7%. Now his is a little lower because he also played in an era when the 30 points didn't come as easy, and he always was getting 20, 25 points or whatever. And he didn't really have a lot of guys that would score 30 points. He occasionally get a Tony Parker, maybe a David Robinson, a Ginobili here and there. I think even Kawhi Leonard got a couple. I mean, sure, he had teammates that did it, obviously, but definitely not at the clip that some of these other guys had. And San Antonio was always more of a collective unit kind of thing. Even Duncan was not, a big-time scorer. He did have a window of about 6-7 years where he was a really good scorer, but he was never an elite scorer, definitely. And he had 3 teammates in his career get him 40 or more. Duncan is one of the lower ones, no doubt, because, yeah, he just didn't have that kind of a teammate most of the time. Hakeem Olajuwon, in his 145 playoff games, 14 teammates got him 30 or more for a 9.6% clip. That's the lowest one on here. And why he didn't have as much playoff success as other teams did, other players, because he just didn't have that kind of teammate that could go just give me 35, you know. He didn't get Clyde Drexler until year 11, and he had 2 teammates get him 40 or more. Not surprised at all to see Olajuwon single digits and being under 10%. Not at all. It all goes hand in hand. It all makes sense. Wilt Chamberlain, his is ridiculous. People that talk about Bill Russell's teammates, oh, he had all these teammates. So did Wilt. Wilt had crazy teammates, especially scoring the ball. In Wilt's 160 playoff games, 61 of them, he had a teammate getting him 30 or more. That's a 38.1% clip. That's unbelievable. And he even had 10 teammates get him 40 or more. He always had good scoring teammates. Paul Arizin, Hal Greer, Jerry West, Elgin Baylor, Gail Goodrich. Always had some big-time scoring teammates. Always. Larry Bird did not have guys that could get big games like that. He definitely had guys that could score the ball, 15, 20, 25 on the regular. But 30, yeah, not quite as much as some other guys. In his 164 playoff games, 22 got him 30 or more for a 13.4% clip. So actually, he did have a decent amount, though. 13.4, that's about 1 every 7 games, kind of like LeBron, actually just a little under LeBron. So, yeah, that's not that bad. 1 40-point game, that's it. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, in his 237 playoff games, 29 teammates got him 30 or more for a 12.2% clip. Like Bird, like LeBron, they were always the focal point of the offense, and they didn't always have that number 2 high-level score. His best teammate, Magic, just didn't score 30 a lot. He had some games. Oscar Robertson, I think he had a couple, but it was more like James Worthy, Jamal Wilkes. It was guys like that were getting those 30-point games. But 12.2 is really not that much, and he had nobody got him 40 or more. Kobe Bryant. I did Kobe by his starts. I didn't count 97, 98 because he wasn't a starter, so he wasn't in there enough to affect how the scoring was distributed. His 199 starts, he had 32 teammates get him 30 or more. And obviously, Shaq's going to have a lot to do with that. 16.1%, so that's about 1 every 6 games. Kind of in line with most of these other guys. 11 times he got a 40-point game, though. And that's mostly, I think, if not entirely, Shaquille O'Neal, no doubt. But he's about middle of the pack, I would say, something like that. But, obviously when you have Shaquille O'Neal in his prime, he's going to have some 30-point games. Magic Johnson, this guy just didn't score much, so he's going to have a bunch. In his 186 playoff games, 52 teammates got him 30 or more, 27.9%. That's a lot, but it's still not as much percentage-wise as Wilt. Magic ran the offense, so he's not going to have a bunch of those 30-point games. He had some, sure, but he had Kareem on his team. That was the guy, him, James Worthy. I think Byron Scott might have got a couple here and there. But yeah, he wasn't the guy who was going to do all the scoring because he ran the offense. He also ran the defense. He didn't anchor it necessarily, but he did run it. He was the floor general on both offense and defense. His responsibilities were that before scoring. Later in his career, Magic ended up being a really good scorer. He had some good seasons scoring the ball when he was asked to do more. But anyway, yeah, he always had a lot of scoring help. And just like Magic, you got Bill Russell. In Bill Russell's 167 playoff games, he had 50 teammates get him 30 or more, 29.9%. That's a little bit more than Magic because same kind of player. They're running the show, offense, defense, the whole kind of thing. They're putting their teammates in a position to score. not necessarily looking to do the scoring themselves. Sure, at times they did. Bill Russell led Boston in scoring. At times, he had big monster games, the 30-point, 40-rebound Game 7. I think that was in, 1961 or 62. He could score when he needed to. Absolutely. He had some nice scoring games, but he just did all the other stuff so good. It was unnecessary for him to worry about scoring, especially when you got a Havlicek, a Kuzi, a Bill Sharman, a Sam Jones. Of course. He had 5 teammates get him 40 or more. That's not as many as even LeBron. LeBron had 6 teammates get him 40 or more. Kevin Durant, 9. Wilt Chamberlain, 10. Kobe, 11. So he didn't even have that kind. Now, again, this is more of a cohesive team that was distributed more evenly instead of just having like a 1 or 2 player, like a Jerry West, Elgin Baylor kind of thing, where it was just, Elgin gets 40 one night, West gets 40 the next night. It was that kind of a thing. It was, a 2-player show. Bill Russell, definitely, it was a complete team with him. Michael Jordan. This is what I just marvel at, what this guy was able to do with such a lack of offensive help. It's unbelievable. In Michael Jordan's 179 playoff games, you know how many 30-plus point games he got from teammates? 6. That's it. 6. 3.3%. I mean, that is 1/3 of the lowest guy on this list, which is Hakeem Olajuwon. He got 1/3 as much scoring help, at least from like a number 2 teammate, that Olajuwon did. No 40-point games. The highest scoring teammate Michael Jordan ever had was 32 points. No one ever scored more than that on a Michael Jordan team. And I know what you're thinking. Well, he took all the shots. Well, so did Shaq for the Lakers. But yet, somehow, Kobe scored 30 and even 40-point games when he was playing with Shaq. Or LeBron. Dwayne Wade had 30-point games. Kyrie Irving had a bunch of monster games playing with him. Anthony Davis had some. LeBron James scored 41 points in a Game 5 finals they had to have. And Kyrie Irving matches it. You know how unreal that is? That's amazing. Michael Jordan's 6 teammates that got him 30 or more. The first time it happened was in 1988 in the Eastern semifinals versus Detroit. Game 2, Sam Vincent scores 31 points. That was the first time. The next time was in 1990 in the first round against Milwaukee. In Game 2, Pippen gets 32. Pippen also got 30 points in the 92 first round versus Miami in Game 2. The very next game, in Game 3, he gets 31 points against Miami. Tony Kukoc in the 98 finals in Game 5 versus Utah, he got 30 points on the dot, 11 for 13 from the field, but the Bulls lost that game. I mean, they were never going to win that. Utah was fighting for their lives. The Bulls just did not play well at all. Kukoc was the one bright spot in that game, played great. But as you can see, they're all fairly meaningless games. Sam Vincent, 88, yeah, that was the only game they won in that series. Obviously, they needed a second score just to win a single game against Detroit in 88. And then Pippen got 3 first-round games in 1990 and 1992. Didn't really even need that. And then Kukoc in the 98 finals in Game 5. The Bulls were already up 3-1, so it didn't really matter. I mean, sure, it would have been nice to close it out or whatever. Scottie Pippen had this, which was his most important and biggest offensive game of his career.
At home softly. Magic thought he was fouled. No call. And here's Pippen. Threw up a prayer, thought he'd draw the foul. And here come the Bulls on a 3-on-2. Pippen off the hesitation dribble. A spectacular end-to-end move by Scottie Pippen. The steal, Pippen moving on Green. Scottie Pippen has 15. Magic off the double team, lost it. And here comes Pippen.
That was the 1991 Finals, Game 5. The Bulls closed it out. Now, if Pippen doesn't have that good of a game, it was pretty close down to the last couple minutes. Okay, maybe the series would have extended and went 6 or something like that. But I feel very confident the Bulls would have won either Game 6 or 7. No doubt about it. But still, that Pippen made sure the Bulls win in 5 by having that really nice game. He did, played a great game, no question. And I think that was the game, for me, I remember watching it. That went Pippen from a mid-level all-star to being all-NBA level. That game right there. I was like, man, that guy's going to be nice next season. In those years, the first three-peat especially, Pippen was huge for the Bulls' success. Absolutely. And I had somebody just in the comments today, once again, oh, Jordan couldn't do nothing until Pippen came along. What could anybody do without some kind of teammates? You know what I'm saying? People talk about, oh, LeBron carried bums to the final. I just showed you he needed Daniel Gibson to come up with 31 points to get them to the finals. If he doesn't have that monster game, they're probably losing in 7 to Detroit, and they never go to the finals. So again, this notion that just one guy just did it all by himself, it's never been done in the history of the NBA. They always need teammates. It's just so stupid to say otherwise. But I think this is very telling stuff, and it showed that the pressure that was on Michael Jordan to score for his team, if he didn't come up big in the scoring, if he was going to get 18 points, 21 points, 23 points, they're going to lose. They would lose that series, guaranteed. He had to score high 20s, if not into the 30s, for the Bulls to win. That's just how it was. They might have been able to get by maybe in the second three-peat, in the first round, maybe the semifinals if he didn't have monster games or whatever. But that's it. Once he got into those conference finals, Jordan was going to have big games. Maybe not every single game. He was going to have to be by far the leading scorer on the team because it just didn't have somebody else say, all right, go give me 35 points. No one in Michael Jordan's whole career got over 32 points. I mean, that's insane. Six 30-point games is all he got in his whole career. That's the same as LeBron James has 40-point teammate games. And LeBron James, in his last 3 series, his last 14 playoff games, has more 30-point teammates than Michael Jordan's entire career. Think about that. Last 14 games versus 179 games. What else can you say? But LeBron needs more help, right? I know. So, anyway, that's all I got for this video. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked it, please hit the like button. If you wouldn't mind sharing the video, that would be great. If you haven't subscribed already, please do. I've been giving daily content. And that's it. Until next time.